Greetings everyone and welcome to the 171st edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator Jaden.
G'day.
Dude, I saw this week that Hans Zimmer's doing the score for The Creator.
Oh, really?
Man, well, I leaned in, you know what I mean? I was like, let's go. I was already kind of interested, so yeah, that's sick. And we've got a resident Irish citizen, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. John Cena, a.k.a. Liam.
Top of the morning to you.
Nice.
Early
Very
morning.
Irish of you. Early morning.
Mid-morning, I guess.
Yeah, it's early morning for us, but we won't actually divulge the time. We'll let the audience imagine what time it is when we say it's an early morning. You'd be quite far off if you thought 6 a.m. I'll just put it that way. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcast places. So subscribe if you do enjoy the show. This week, the movie we're reviewing is La La Land, which opened in the US on December 9th, 2016. It was directed by Damien Chazelle, now friend of the show. It is a musical drama, and the synopsis says, while navigating their careers in Los Angeles, a pianist and an actress fall in love while attempting to reconcile their aspirations for the future. Where do we go? What do we do? Person who has seen it? Person who hasn't seen it?
Don't know.
What
It's
a
up to the
dilemma.
host, I guess.
It is
Person who
indeed.
has seen it and doesn't like it.
Well, hang on. That's a bit presumptuous of you. Fitzy, I'll start with you. What
Me?
did you think of La La Land and how many times have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. I was pretty obsessed with this film in 2016. Like, I was even obsessed with the trailer beforehand, and I saw it like 3 times at the cinemas, and then
Wow.
I rewatched it a bunch of times afterwards. I haven't seen it in a few years at this point, but like, it was just a film I was like highly anticipating at the time because I was just really into films that had strong themes and strong cinematography, and like, if it just had those 2 things, I was basically like in, you know. As when like I could just like rewatch like something like The Neon Demon, you know, over and over again, even if it was like kind of bullshit. You know, if it just had those 2 things, I was there. So I was looking forward to this, especially because the trailer was so great, and it was from the Whiplash guy. So I was totally looking up to this, and yeah, it totally lived up to it. And I don't know, I just think it's awesome. I just love I think the quality of the songs is like top tier. The choreography is awesome. And I think it like succeeds outside of like being a musical. Like, just I think the script really works, the relationship works and stuff. And as I think I said in Whiplash, I think it's like it's the same side, the other side of the same like coin in terms of what Whiplash like explores and stuff. It's like an extension of it, kind of, from a different angle. So yeah,
Yep.
I just really love it.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling's character was even going to be like an aspiring jazz musician as opposed to wanting to own a club. And that was changed. So that's how he was getting real close there.
I was really happy with that change. It gives the film that bit more unique personality rather than just being.
Yeah, I'm into it more too, for sure. Like the idea of like being a business owner as opposed to like, because Mia's already an artist, you know. I feel like it's sort of a different take on it. Yeah, I like that. Apparently that was Ryan Gosling's idea, the trivia said. Cool. Okay. I was going to ask, did the trailer like say from the director of Whiplash, or did you knew Damien, you know?
Oh, probably. I don't know. Yeah, I probably did. But like,
it was Facebook friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh sure.
And he was like 11 or whatever Liam was at the time.
But it was like, I think I used to listen to YMS. He was really into this as well, and I think I just knew in general. But the hype didn't just come from the Whiplash, like him directing Whiplash. But yeah, it was a big part of it.
Yeah, this was a Best Picture contender, of course, because it infamously this was the one where it was called out as the winner, and then it wasn't. Moonlight. Yeah. I forget. I always forget like which was the one that they said. Yeah. Okay. I'll jump in and say that this is an undeniably good movie, you know, and
Oh,
some of its biggest strengths and characteristics just really aren't my thing. Um, as I already knew, and that's cool, but I still cared about the characters, and I really did enjoy sort of exploring this window of time in their lives. The second half was definitely stronger for me, for sure, for reasons I'm scared to admit, but you can probably figure out. But yes, La La Land is good. It's good. It's cool.
dude,
I recommend it.
as soon as you started saying the synopsis like sarcastically, like I fucking knew you wouldn't be changed on this film. God damn it.
No, yeah. No. It was good. I don't know if my opinion changed much. I don't know. It was sort of I watched it so long ago as well, but the overall vibe of it feels pretty similar to me. Yeah. So Fitz, you were right in your assessment of me that I don't change my mind a lot, but yeah, no, it was good. Very well made, of course, as you'd expect, no doubt about that. Jaden, though, you have never seen this movie, so I'm dying to know what you thought of it.
Yeah, no, probably the biggest film I've been missing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been on everything as well, and like there's really like no excuse to have not watched it. I don't know. I quite enjoyed it, but I think it's probably the weakest I've been on a Damien film so far. I really enjoyed the chemistry between the main two. I enjoyed the setting, and I love the romanticism of Hollywood, and I love all the elements of, old Hollywood that he brings in, and just like these, longing for the classics and all that shit. I love it. But I just think that there's a flatness that exists whenever they're not succeeding, and obviously it works to the film's strength as like thematically, but I think it takes it too far out as a viewer for me, where I'm just like, it's so flat that it takes out some of my engagement. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's how I feel. But it works it works. I think it's intended, but it just takes me too far out.
Interesting. When you say you're talking about like during their sort of down times when they're failing, is that right?
Yeah, when it's not like ultra romanticized with like purple sunsets or red and green rooms and jazz and all that. Like
Right.
it is just very flat and kind of just standard, which in contrast to this this ultra romantic kind of stuff that is happening, the scene prior to. It's a bit jarring.
Yeah. Well, just trying to narrow it down. Is it stuff like it? To me, that sounds like more of the second half. Actually, is it stuff like sort of every time Ryan Gosling goes to play with like John Legend and like that band stuff, and then
some of that, but yeah, quite a lot of the day to day early on as well. Of like,
like when he goes into his apartment with his sister and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, mate. Let me think, because it's sprinkled throughout like quite frequently.
Okay. So it's not like particular sections necessarily.
No.
It's just like the way certain scenes are, the tone of them at times.
Yeah.
Okay. No. I get you. Yeah. I feel like the film is really a tale for me as well, in a similar sort of way of two tones or two styles of storytelling, and that is the musical stuff, and just the romanticized stuff that you're talking about, Jaden. Sort of, there's a very clear distinction in the color, the framing, the vibe, the obviously the music and the dance as well. But that's obviously very apparent. But even some scenes that don't feature music and dance, just have a lot of color and a lot of atmosphere to them. And then other scenes in the film that feel a lot more grounded in sort of just the drama aspects or the character aspects. I do really feel like the film, more in the second half, gets into the latter, but and that's actually kind of why I enjoy it more. So I guess I might differ from Jaden a little bit in that way. But yeah, to me, the film is sort of two sides in that respect. It's two different things that it's going for, which is an interesting sort of, I don't know, sort of dynamic that it plays with. Jaden sounds like he had an interesting experience with it. For me, to get it out of the way, are the musical and dance elements core to your enjoyment of the film, Jaden? Just to get the philosophical difference out of the way.
They're not core, but I do quite like a lot of them.
Okay.
I don't like that opening one at all. But I understand it's necessary to set the tone, because I think if you're thrown into the first one without that one, then that first one is going to be a shock. Whereas this one sets expectations as to that it will have musical aspects, despite me not liking it.
Yeah. I get you.
No, I do quite like the dance and music throughout the film.
What don't you like about the first one?
Oh, I just don't. The song's shit, and it's just and I don't know. I think it's just the song. The song's shit. I don't know. The choreography is fine.
The song is not shit. What do you mean?
That first song's an arsehole. Yeah.
I thought the song didn't do anything for me either, but yeah.
The choreography is quite good, and it's a very impressive sequence. Obviously, it's like 6 minutes, and there's I think there's only 3 cuts. I think it was saying. I was trying to look out for them. I was like, there's going to be cuts here somewhere. So it's impressive technically, and the choreography is great and whatever, but the song's so shit that I just can't get behind it.
What's wrong with the song? The song is fucking memorable and good. I don't know what you mean the song's shit.
That first song isn't.
All right, yeah, sure.
I wouldn't say the song is shit personally, but like for me, just to make my stance clear and all this right away, like I know you guys already know this, but like I'm just got to get it out there. Of course, this is the fact that like musicals aren't my thing. I don't typically enjoy them. I can appreciate elements and definitely like some scenes more than others here, but generally speaking, they're not my vibe. And like none of the music did it for me in this movie. None of it, like zero. I mean, not a single song I found memorable or like, oh, that's catchy or anything. Like I can't remember any of them now. So I'm just making that blanket statement. So right off the bat.
Do you guys listen to music? Did you guys not know a good song where it hits you in the fucking face? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Apparently not.
Did you like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, perhaps?
Oh, yeah, that's a banger. Yeah. That shit slaps, dude. No doubt. But Fitzy, obviously, but no, please, like, tell us all. Do you like all of the music in the film?
Yeah, pretty much. I think all I think one of the things that makes this film so great is just the quality of all the songs are fucking fantastic. And I guess that's subjective, as Jane has pointed out.
You didn't think it was, but...
No. I really didn't think it was, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now that's all good. The question I did have, though, not a music critic, clearly. The singing's not that good, right? I just want to... And look, I appreciate that the actors are doing it, but vocally, it's not that impressive. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's distracting. I'm not any of that. But I'm just saying I was never once like, oh wow, it's impressive vocal range there. Emma Stone.
Okay, no. If you're going to criticize this movie, you can't start criticizing the songs and the singing and the dancing. Like you can't go there. Like the fucking music and the singing is incredible. I don't know what you guys are on.
But do you think? Okay, so the quality of the singing for sure. Like
yes,
I'm not.
That's great.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. I don't know. I really don't.
No, you don't like John Legend's part?
Oh, you know that song he plays?
Yeah.
Like at the concert? I assume that was actually a John Legend, so I don't know, but is it?
I think he wrote it for the film.
Makes a ton of sense.
I think he wrote quite a bit of the songs for the film, didn't he?
That was the best song in the movie. Probably.
Really? I hate it too. Yeah.
Oh, I liked it.
Oh my God. Yeah, wasn't it supposed to be like intentionally mediocre?
Yeah.
I mean,
that actually makes sense.
It was kind of good when they, and when it was on stage or whatever. There was like a moment I was like, oh, I'm vibing to this. But for the most part, it was like worse than the other songs, like in the film.
I like jazz fusion, but like that was pretty poor jazz fusion, to be honest.
I just love how Fitzy's pointed out to me that the song's intentionally mediocre, which makes perfect sense, and I never realized because I liked it.
I think it's just safe. It's not as like overly mediocre. It's just like it's safe.
Yeah, which is like makes perfect sense for exactly what Ryan Gosling goes through. Yes. Yeah. Oh God, that's so funny to me. Okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. Let's tackle some of these individually. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's go all in. We'll get all polarized and shit probably, but we'll continue to. But on the opening number though, Jaden, music aside, obviously a very impressive scene visually and incredibly well done. The continuous take aspect of it. I don't know if I was paying because I was sort of like looking down, taking notes. I didn't see any cuts. Like were you when you say you were spotting cuts? Were there like like smooth cuts that you could sort of tell, or was there actually the straight cuts in it?
No, so like the most obvious place to bury them is in like your fast transitions or pans or whatever. But I couldn't tell. But then I was having a look at like that's where I assumed they were when I was like looking for them. But then on IMDb it said like that's where they were hidden as well.
Makes perfect sense. Okay. Yeah, no, this scene's obviously a standout visually. I love all the colourful costumes. Like literally everyone's wearing like the most bright coloured thing you've ever seen. That's the case for a lot of the first half as well. So yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. And I love everyone like standing. By the time when they get to standing on the car roofs, like that's just a great visual. No doubt about that. Bit of trivia: only 30 dancers were used for the Another Day of Sun sequence. Most of the people and the cars seen in the far background are CGI. So there you go.
Oh.
Fincher level good Zodiac CGI here. I am very impressed by the sequence. I don't want to take that away from it, but there is also this small element of like the point you brought up, Jaden, about how it feels like it's just there to. It serves its very specific purpose of letting everyone know who sit down in the theater like what you're in for. You know, right off the bat, we don't want any illusions of what this is, and in that way, I get its point. I couldn't help but feel like it was a little bit random, though. You know, just a little bit.
It's to show the initial idealistic perspective of LA, which is slowly destroyed, slowly changed throughout the film. Yes,
that makes sense.
It's not just there to tell you it's a musical. We're in a musical. You know, it's a bit more than that. You know,
obviously makes perfect sense for the characters as well. What is your top musical sequence in the film, Fitzy, if you had to pick one?
Probably just like Waste of a Lovely Night. It's probably the easy choice, but yeah, you know, the one where they dance together on the like on the top of LA. You know, they're like
up the road.
Yeah, up the road. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the best one. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Glad you agree. That's good.
Correct.
Yeah, no, that's really strong. The way they literally show how they like switch into the shoes, but it's still like really cool and seamless, you know. And then they go into that tap thing. It's awesome. It's great.
The tap thing, yeah.
Dancing.
But yeah, that one for me was like not something I necessarily like watch, but like the dance choreography, it was like so impressive, and like I've got some trivia about it too. That's even more impressive. But it was that was very nice, and it's where I felt like the music and the tone like of it really trying to take from like 40s and 50s musicals, like it really came out the most to me, like in the fact that it's all just clearly one shot. There's clearly, you know, you've got all the space for the actors just to do their thing and let the scene breathe, and for them to just, you know, perform in front of the camera. And like, when they start tap dancing and stuff, that's like, oh yeah, this, I feel like I'm watching like, you know, I don't know, what's something casual, like Mary Poppins or some shit, you know what I mean? I don't know, there's probably like better examples, but that's what immediately came to mind for me. And it feels like a throwback to that, which I think it totally nails. What are some other films like it draws from in that way? I don't even really know.
Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain.
Is like The Sound of Music like that? I don't even know. I haven't seen it. I just feel like it would be.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's tap dancing if I remember correctly, but because they're hiding from the Nazis, you know.
That always trips me out when I remember that The Sound of Music is about the Nazis. I'm like, wait, what is it? In terms of this scene, the crew had a limited time window of 30 minutes between 7:20 and 7:50 p.m. within 2 days to film the magic hour dusky purple twilight Hollywood scene. According to Damien Chazelle, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, they managed 5 takes across the 2 days, where after each take, they would go back to the starting point with the assistants wiping their sweat before starting the whole dance routine again. The 4th take is the one that's used in the film. Damn. Under some pressure there, because it's a pretty lengthy scene. I want to say it's like maybe bordering on 10 minutes, maybe like 5-ish bit more. So the fact that they got 30 minutes, they run up there, they do it, and they have to run back down and like quickly reset. That's crazy. And obviously that would take a shit ton of rehearsal. So I was very impressed reading that. And even more impressed knowing that they used the 4th take. That means they would definitely had 1 or 2 takes before it on that day where they were sweating their ass off already. You know what I mean? And you couldn't tell. Not at all. So yeah, that was great. That was great. Did you like this particular scene, Jaden? I feel like this has got to be like peak romanticized lighting that you're talking about. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a banger for sure.
Good.
Don't need to add anything else for that, you know.
No, not at all. Not at all. You definitely don't. Oh, there's the observatory scene. Is that like? I feel like that's iconic, but maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I've seen it quite a bit.
What do you mean seen it?
Seen it around, seen it talked about. I feel like it's might have reached iconic status at this point. I don't know if I don't know if you can say that like 7 years later or whatever, but maybe it has.
Maybe that one kind of like, I don't know. Like, it's not like a highlight for me for some reason. The observatory scene, it just kind of blends in with the film. Yeah.
Yeah, they totally broke into that observatory, right?
Griffith Observatory. No, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's public, but like
they went at like 10 o'clock at night.
It might be nice stuff.
I just wanted to point out that I'm pretty sure I exposed them committing a crime and they just quickly skipped over it. But anyway.
Trespassing. Yeah.
Trespassing big time, dude. Okay. No, that's all good. That's all good. Do you guys agree that the amount of musical sequences definitely like fades in the second half? It's almost kind of, I guess it does fit the story thinking about it, but as I was watching it, like the pacing of them was sort of odd to me, where it was like you had the opening one come out with a bang, obviously. Then not too long after, you've got the other Emma Stone one. And then, it feels like they sort of just peter out as you go, which, not saying it doesn't work, but I wasn't necessarily expecting that, I sort of thought it would be more consistent.
It just falls into like the more jazz standardy type sequences, doesn't it?
Right.
It's not like that there's like an absence of songs. It's just that it forgoes like the big set pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, you're true. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, music is not forgotten by any means, but yeah, and it replaces it with like that. Like I really like that like that City of Stars montage where you get the sense that they're drifting apart. It sort of replaces it with sort of different memorable sequences, but like they're just different. Like that's like a montage. It's not a set piece per se at all. It's like has these different ways of having memorable moments and sequences, but they just change, I think, throughout the film as it goes. That one I really liked. I thought that was really good. But yeah, in terms of the characters and the performances, I'm glad. We're all, I think, on the same page in this regard, right? That the didn't work at all. Right. But like the chemistry and the journey of the characters is actually pretty solid and impactful overall. Because for me, like seeing Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling on screen is like the best part of the movie, no doubt about it. Like in their regular scenes for me, just when they're chatting and everything. I don't know, like when they argue, everything. It really draws me into the film. All the scenes where they're connecting for the first time are really strong. I especially liked, like for example, when Seb takes her to the the lighthouse, I think it was called, the jazz club, and he's like spends 5 minutes explaining what jazz means to him, to her, and I just thought that was great. Like that's where the movie is like really firing on all cylinders for me. But yeah, do you guys feel the same way? How do you feel about the performances? And I don't know, wherever you want to take it, any key scenes like that jump out to you as well?
Like I'll start off as a first time watcher. Despite it being like quite strong, I still think it is like I said, like it I think it's the weakest of Chazelle's 3 films I've seen, performance wise as well. I think Taller and Simmons and Whiplash is just way stronger, and I think that everything in Babylon from that main trio especially is just incredibly strong. And like maybe it's just the nature of this film where like it has that more whimsical aspect that I'm not perceiving it in the same light. And like, I think that they also do impressive stuff, all the choreography and all that shit. And Ryan plays the music himself, and Emma does the performances and all that stuff. They are great, but yeah, I think I just buy into the characters and the performances a bit less than I do his other films.
That's a good point. Yeah, I do agree with that. I wasn't comparing his films like that, but I can't wait till we watch First Man next week and we'll be able to compare them all. But that's going to be great. But yeah, it's the other two. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But taking the film for itself though, were you enjoying them on screen?
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah, I love like Ryan Gosling's little jazz obsessed nerd kind of persona.
Sure.
I think Emma Stone's character is probably a bit more typical in what you see in the setting, and Gosling's character 100% had that potential as well before the change. But
Yeah.
in just making him that someone that's passionate and someone that like just loves art, like it really feels like that's when you see the creatives behind the camera coming through, where it is just like you don't see love like that portrayed on screen much. Like for a subject, sorry. Like that's a lie. Sorry, it's probably evident in a lot of products. But like I don't know. I think just such utter passion and just nerdiness and loserville of like the subject. I love seeing it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's a standout for Ryan Gosling's character too. I probably do slightly prefer his story because by the time you get to that really great, I think, dinner argument scene between them, where it sort of blows up, that was really good, I think, because, well, first of all, it wasn't like too loud or anything crazy, but it was still quite impactful. And second of all, because like Emma Stone's totally right in that scene, and we all know it. And I think Ryan Gosling knows it. Sorry. I think he knows it too. And the idea that, of course, he doesn't want to be playing this music, and he knows the music's whatever, and it's it's mid, and he's basically there just trying to out loud convince himself that he's okay with it, basically. But we know from everything that's established earlier in the film how passionately he feels about jazz and all that kind of stuff, that of course he's not content with this, and obviously with chasing your dreams being the biggest theme of the film, and how that all ends up playing out, it's like. It's just such a memorable scene because it's like, obviously, dude, obviously this is a bad decision that you're making right now, and he realizes it because he ends up going back to playing the piano at some dude's wedding or whatever, which was like cool because it was like kind of sad but kind of success. You know what I mean? At the same time, it was like, he did it, but now he's making no money again for a little bit before it all, of course, goes great for him. So yeah, I thought that journey for him was really good. Yeah.
I'll make a counter argument.
Okay.
Back to the deposition. Like comparing this to other Chazelle films, like the performances are way harder to make like super like impactful because they're much normaler people than
that's for sure.
And
Fletcher.
Yeah, or even like Margot Robbie in Babylon or any of those characters. And like this film doesn't. I don't think it hardly has any tension. Like it doesn't. Tension's not a main like force of this film, and so it relies on selling the chemistry and, as Jane was saying, like the passion of the characters, which I think is very believable, especially given I think. Like Mia is like almost an underwritten character. Like we know she has like a backstory with, her aunt or whatever, how she got into, movies, but she feels very, like just one of the crowd, which I think is like maybe part of the point. But, like Mia feels very normal, and, Seb like has a unique dream, but they're very like down to earth, and I think they're great. I think they sell it really well, and I think they do a job that's much harder than these other like larger than life kind of characters in these other Chazelle films.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I must admit, like the scene when, like every time Mia's working in the coffee shop and like her boss is like bossing her around, that was bordering on cliche for me. That was like a little close, but like, oh dude, well, like some of the other stronger stuff that like totally saved like Mia's side of it. Saved is a bit strong, but that totally made it stand out. Where like the like all of her auditions and shit, like the audition where you can see the first one where like you can see the person coming in the background while she's acting her heart out, and like like the assistant's like standing there in the window, and then she comes in and totally interrupts it. Apparently, that I had trivia that like that actually really happened to Ryan Gosling once when he was auditioning. Like someone came in like as he was mid crying, like and just started talking. So that's apparently where that came from, which is so great. But like that was standout. All her auditions are standouts. The one where the dude just like she's, I think she says like 2 sentences, and then the guy's like, okay, yep, all good.
Yeah,
we got it.
She gets a callback for that as well. It's like she thinks that's gonna go somewhere.
Is that the one she gets the call? Oh yeah, sorry, she was called back and then that happened. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. She's like, we're good.
That's
But her
brutal. That
acting
was so
wasn't that
brutal.
great in the audition.
No, her acting was pretty bad, I thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love,
Which
I,
is,
lo- I
yeah,
love, I love that shit when actors have to like act bad.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
great, it's great.
That's like the fact that Emma Stone was playing Mia and giving a bad performance as Mia within the performance is like incredible acting. You know what I mean? That's like that's unbelievable. But yes, I thought Mia's performance wasn't that impressive. But yeah, no, that's that everything with that though. All her audition scenes were brutal. Just that was what really sold me on her and her dreams. And speaking of, I don't want to jump ahead too far, but dude, that ending when she does her play and it's revealed, like they do the thing where the lights come up and it's revealed how many people were there. Oh, that was brutal. That was like so visceral to me, that shot where the lights come up, that I remembered it explicitly from last time. It was like one of the main things that I remembered from the film because I found it so devastating, the way just that visual, that really obvious visual of just like failure, right as it appears before your eyes, I thought that was really great. Another one that was really great actually was the whole sort of the backstory that we got. The little backstory that Liam mentioned that we got from Mia was walking around the WB studios when she gives the tour of the place. That was really cool. I really liked that scene a lot. That was like them building some strong chemistry and just an enjoyable scene overall. And the fact that they were literally walking everywhere. They did the exact same walk that we did when we were there, just throwing that out there. It was really that was crazy. That was wild. Like it's like, oh wow, Ryan Gosling have been here.
We went to Universal.
Did you do the tour?
Yeah, we went on the train tour.
Oh, that's awesome.
They showed like the Jaws thing and the Psycho. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, we just like they just like toured around. They had a cool thing with the Jaws thing where we like went across the water. It was like the shark they used or whatever. It
like came up.
Effect. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's great.
And then Andrew,
they got it working.
Yeah, and the psycho guy, he chases you with a knife.
Oh shit.
That was fun.
It sounds like that sounds like a borderline ride / tour, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Were there sections of it that like the scene where Emma and Ryan are just like walking down that straight, and you got all the different
lots.
The lots like spaced out like as they are. Were there spaces like that you got to see? Because I don't know how it's laid out there differently because it's sort of all part theme park, Yeah,
because I think the spaces are bigger because I think I think one of the main spots is where like a lot of CG kind of thing. Like I think they shot like War of the Worlds, like the big plane sequence in War of the Worlds, the recent one, stuff like that. And there was like obviously like warehouse studio lots, but there wasn't like small ones like that, like in this film or like Babylon, where they're like small ones like right next to each other.
Got it.
I don't think I saw that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, Warner Brothers. Okay, that makes sense. They would be smaller. There were like 50 of them. Honestly, I think.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't really got any way to transition from that, but that's all right. Let's talk a little bit about the core themes of the film. We can go into the ending as well. Obviously, a lot of Whiplash was coming up, as we've already discussed a little bit, for sure, and that was interesting to see. I was sort of torn. Like I do really like the theme of, chasing your dreams versus giving them up, and the idea of like that balance of when is the right time to do it. I sort of did question whether the film, and again, I think this does go back to what we've talked about a few times already, the great observation that, with this film sort of just being lighter and subtler and a step back, it's as Fitzy said, it's not a tense film. As a result of that, I think it does maybe lose some of the thematic conflict I would have liked, just in terms of the idea of, I don't feel like it poses any real dilemmas or actually strong arguments for and against or anything like that in terms of should you give up your dreams or should you chase them. The film, and this is a totally positive, great message, don't get me wrong, but it feels like it's always obvious that of course they should go for it in the film. Of course they should chase their dreams. Like I'm never once like, oh shit, maybe Seb's got a good point and he should just stay at the stable job. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like in real life that is actually a compelling argument, but the film never really weighs them up and like tries to really make a strong case for itself in that way. It's sort of just always like, oh yeah, of course you should open the club, which you should. I agree with that, but I think that's sort of a little part where it differs from Whiplash for me, especially where it's like in Whiplash. I mean, we talked about that so extensively in that review because it was like we felt so strongly about it different ways, and I feel like the film was making really strong arguments either way, at least from what the conflicts it presented. But again, maybe that's just a different tonal thing, but that was an observation I had anyway, especially compared to Whiplash.
Yeah. Okay. Like, one thing I was going to say was that, like, I think this film makes it much more clear that Chazelle was always like, secretly on Neiman's side, and Whiplash might present like a better dynamic, a better like argument as to why not to like, go be like the obsessed artist or whatever. Like this film's, I think it's more about, it's not about whether or not they should get a stable job. I think it's more about the time that they dedicate to their relationship versus their craft and that kind of thing. But it is more resolute. It does like, put an end to some of the questions, I guess, in terms of what Chazelle thinks.
Yeah. I think that's totally true. But that of course still comes with a price in the film. It's not like just they achieve their dreams, yay, I don't want to paint that picture at all.
I think that's part of also what makes films so strong is that they build up this romance, for the answer to be so obvious that they have to like fully focus on their own paths, It's not an easy decision in that respect because the romance, their connection is so strong.
Yeah. That actually is really clever how the romance in itself, like what the whole film is built on, this chemistry and this romance between the two main characters, like it builds it and then it's the cost in the end. Like it's what's spent to get to the end.
It ends up just being like a sacrificial lamb,
right?
For the real, success. The real
exactly
what they really want.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's actually really clever. I really like that. How did you feel about the ending, Jaden, after just watching it for the first time? Like how that whole final sequence and what it represented, like how impactful was it? And what was your take on it?
I don't know. I wish I was more invested in it. Like it was sad, it was bittersweet, but it wasn't as to the effect that I wanted it to. I knew that they both succeeded and sacrificed their relationship. Just I don't know, spoilers over the years, I guess, or just common. So like I saw it coming, and I guess maybe not saw it coming. I knew it was coming, and maybe because of that, it was watered down. But also, just like it's like maybe that's why I'm looking for it to have something more gut punching. So I'm not sure how effective it would have been without that knowledge. Probably more effective. But yeah, no, it's strong, but yeah, once again, just not as strong as I feel like it could have. Not as strong for me as it could be.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Did it feel right though?
It felt right. Yeah.
Okay. That was something that I felt was that like ultimately, like what Fitzy and I were just talking about, but like in terms of the actual results, it felt like things turned out how they should have. It felt right. I never necessarily felt like, they had a great relationship, don't get me wrong. But I never felt like the Seb and Mia were like meant for each other over the dreams that they had. I don't feel like the film is saying that giving up on your dreams is okay if you settle for someone you truly love. I feel like it's like not that at all, which is quite apparent. So that's sort of another way to look at it, I guess. But when they nod each other at the end, it's like it was like I sort of interpret this whole sequence as like, we had a great time. Look what we could have had, but like, it's cool. It's fine. We're happy where we are. That's sort of why that's sort of what I take Ryan Gosling's nod at the end as. It's like I acknowledge all of this, but we're meant to be, both of us. And it's all good. That's sort of how I take it, which I think is right. Fitzy, do you reckon? Unless you're about to blow my mind or something.
Yeah. No, I think that like, acceptance at the end. I still think, there's a lot of regret.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he gives a little, nod of approval or whatever, little, masculine code thing. But he breaks the code, Yeah.
Cool. That nod for me really sells it because, like, from Mia's angle, it's more. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like, the final shot of Mia is still quite. It's much less resolute. Like, it's still quite emotional and reflective, I think, if I recall. And then like the cut to Ryan is when it's like he's the one that gives the approval. He's like. He obviously gives the nod, but like even just in the tone of his whole face and everything, I feel like it's much more. It's not like I don't think they end each other's shots on the same note exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you think one is more affected than the other? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I just think I think they have slightly different emotional endings, just on the way that their final shots are. I don't think Mia has the same perfect acceptance of it all in the moment that Ryan Gosling has.
I think she does. I think there's a little thingy smile kind of thing you see on her face, a little hint, of it. Yeah.
Need to frame by frame it.
Pixel by pixel.
So was the actual whole sequence? It sort of did I got it. I feel like I got it perfectly emotionally, but just in terms of what it's actually meant to represent, the whole final sequence where you see the events of the film play out in this alternate way. Obviously, it's a parallel to how things could have been, but I was curious about it because it seems rooted in Seb's perspective to me. Because in the sequence, things only really turn out differently for him in the alternate reality, right? It's all the events for Mia are the same, except for the fact that obviously it's Seb and not the other husband or whatever. She still becomes the big actress.
But she has a much more easier path throughout. Everyone shows up at her show and stuff. It's just it's an idealized dream kind of the whole film. And it's for both of them. I think that's more with me. Everyone shows up at a play.
Okay.
And then
that's true.
Yes, Jane.
Did you notice that the babysitter was different in the idealized version? Where in the real world she's this, hot young teen, babysitter or whatever. But then in the dream sequence, it's this old woman. And to me, that just says that it says that she has issues with the husband, where the husband is hiring the hot attractive ones.
Oh, that's
whereas Ryan would be okay. Ryan's comfortable enough with Mia and happy enough with Mia that they can just get the old babysitter.
Jaden, that's genius. What an observation.
So to me, I think that Mia's not actually happy in her current relationship. I think that young babysitter represents a level of uncertainty.
Oh,
so I agree with Zach here. I agree with Zach here, where he's saying that Mia doesn't end as resolute as Ryan, where Ryan's it's okay, you can do your thing, and Mia's just still a bit hung up, thinking, is it still the right thing?
I can't tell if you're joking or not, but
no, I'm serious. I'm being serious.
That's super interesting.
Wouldn't it be the other way around? If it was a young babysitter in the dream, wouldn't that indicate that the guy is more secure? He doesn't have to worry about this, or that me is more secure and she doesn't have to worry about this other chick.
I can say that.
Yeah. I guess you're right too.
That was definitely a deliberate choice, though. There's no doubt about it. I never noticed it, but
the choice that they're different is.
But I think I just read to this fact that the husband would then go to cheat with the babysitter.
Such a negative.
But wouldn't the fact that Mia is cool with the young babysitter mean that she's secure in her, her white fucking bread husband, Greg? No.
All right.
I was going to say though, because there's no other real indication that she's unhappy in the relationship, right? I don't believe
she's
so.
not unhappy.
I just think that she still carries that uncertainty of whether she did the right thing.
I agree with that, but I don't think the babysitter represents that.
To me, of the parallel sequence, the main result I got from it was the fact that, good point about the theatre, but for me, like, Seb's life was the one that was more dramatically different either way. So like I sort of took it as more from his perspective in that way of like the choice he could have made. And if he had stayed with her, you know, she would have still succeeded, but then he wouldn't have the club, basically.
Well, I don't know, because it doesn't really show what happens to Seb, because in that sequence he rejects, you know, the modern jazz singer guy in the club, the Lighthouse Club they go to. Then it doesn't really show where that goes with Seb. You know,
stay at home dad.
Yeah,
but it shows that he doesn't own the club, right?
I don't know,
because they go to this other random club, I assume, and it's not his. He wouldn't own it.
I guess so, but in that dream sequence, he rejects the, you know, the common idea of success straight away. Whereas in the film, he reluctantly goes with it, and then he like comes around and you know, makes the club. I think in that dream sequence he does make the club. I think everything in that dream sequence is supposed to be idealized. You know, Mia's route to success is much quicker, and by extension, so is Seb's. You know, he rejects the guy straight away. He goes through all this, and I think it's kind of implied that he's, you know, he finds his success in the way he wants to too.
Got it. Okay. So I guess in that way, the whole sequence is even less of a like. It's less. I sort of viewed it as more like a pro and con. Like it's like they get Mia, but they lose some things. Like it doesn't even sound like it's really that. It's just more.
Right.
It is like almost more the perfect vision.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it doesn't really show what happens with Seb, like what he does, where he goes. But I don't know. I think it's kind of implied that he gets something. Maybe not. But like Mia, you know, Mia's route to success is much faster in the dream sequence. So I guess I'm just kind of projecting that onto Seb.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it did trigger me a little bit in the film how I feel like all of these people's problems would be solved if they just kept a calendar on their phone. But you know, it's just me. Just so. Like 5 times they forget that they've got a meeting or something. They forget they've got a dinner on or something.
Oh right.
It's like, oh man, come on guys, come on.
Oh, I thought that like swanky director that Mia first meets, I thought that was Damien Chazelle, like as a self insert. But then because I forgot what he looked like, and I thought he vaguely looked like that. So I thought he was playing like that wanky director, which
the one that she went on a date with. Who are you talking about?
At the party, the writer, the writer at the party. Yeah,
got it.
I thought that was meant to be him, but then I found out it was just some other actor.
No, that would be really funny though. I was confused by the guy she went with a date on though.
That was her boyfriend.
Was it meant to be obvious before that she had a boyfriend?
Well, Ryan asked about the Greg situation or whatever, I think.
Was that after the date though?
No.
After she left the date, I mean?
No, it was just before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that guy was Greg. Who was the later husband, you know?
Greg as well.
That's Greg, yeah. Probably.
Wait, but it wasn't the same person, right?
I don't think so. I don't know. I doubt it, yeah.
I was so confused when like that first scene where the guy she's dating, I think if it is Greg, when he walked in for the first time and he's like, "Oh, you forgot the dinner was tonight or whatever." I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea what was happening.
I always forget about him. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I was like, there must be a deleted scene or something with this guy because I was like, what is going on? I just thought it was funny. Okay, according to composer Justin Hurwitz, all the piano performances featured in the film were first recorded by pianist Randy Kerber during pre-production. Ryan Gosling then spent 2 hours a day, 6 days a week in piano lessons, learning the music by heart. By the time filming had begun, Gosling was able to play all of the piano sequences seen in the film without the use of a hand double or CGI. Which, if you recall, there were some pretty damn impressive piano sequences, I thought, in the film. So, well, there was one in particular. It's the one where he goes all out, right, when he's working for J.K. Simmons, like But he's doing the Christmas carols or whatever. But then when he like decides I'm gonna friggin' slay this one and then get fired.
What was like you said something earlier that I can't remember. You said something like for reasons we can probably guess you didn't like something about this film, like something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said for reasons you probably guess I like the second half more, and that's because there were less musical sequences.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, it got more into the characters, I felt.
Okay.
And that's why I like some of the montages they did. Yeah. What's this I got here? Emma Watson turned down the role of Mia due to scheduling conflicts with Beauty and the Beast, while Ryan Gosling turned down the role of the Beast in that movie to appear in this film. Wow, that's crazy. Wait, I've lost this. What happened? Coincidentally, both are musicals. Ironically, Emma Stone would later drop out of the role of Meg March in Little Women due to scheduling conflicts with promoting The Favourite, and Watson would be cast to replace her in that part. All these actors just swapping shit. The hell?
Yeah. It's like 50 actors that just, get all the roles and they have to decide which one, between themselves, which one gets what.
Yep, that's honestly like it. Imagine like, it's like Mia's story in the film, right? Like there's all these amazing talented actresses trying to get gigs in Hollywood or, trying to get their dream in acting or whatever. And like, meanwhile, just these two actors just swapping all their parts back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with like Ryan and Jake Gyllenhaal over the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
The idea, Jane, just because of course it's your favourite film, I had to mention it, of bloody Emma Stone playing Emma Watson's part in Little Women.
Well, it's not a massive role.
That's a good point.
Actually, if you had
less so.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about Emma Watson being in this film than I would the other way around.
Because she'd be doing an American accent.
Should be a Yankee. Should be a singing Yankee. Should be a singing, dancing Yankee.
To me, that whole sentence just sounded way too close to monkey. But anyway,
I like Watson's great in what I've seen her in, but like I don't think I haven't seen her in a range of things the way that I've seen Stone do stuff. So I would always pick Stone over her if the project's a bit more risky. Not risky, but just yeah.
No, I agree with that. I mean, especially if it's an American character, no doubt. And even Emma can do British shit, as she's made very clear as well.
Watson would probably lingering it up, Should Valley Girl it up a bit? Yeah,
maybe a little bit. Yeah. We probably should have. I probably should have asked you this earlier, Fitzy, when we were talking about our Universal tours and shit. But how do you feel about how much of an LA movie this is? Because the film is named after the city, and I feel like we've got to continue this saga. I was a little bit. I felt LA more thematically than like the actual geography of the city, which is totally fine. But I was surprised by that.
Oh yeah, I mean LA is a shithole. Like, have you seen the streets?
I know. I know.
Terrible. Yeah. Doesn't look like this at all. Like, just
no offense to everyone in the 20 million people that live in LA or whatever.
Like when you think of like heat, it's pretty incredible. Like how different they are, I guess. Like how they represent the city. Right. Yeah. I don't think it's like too normal or anything. Like if it was it was more normal. Yeah. If it was, you actually like just walk them around LA, it would be pretty, an average film. It's very. They're still good. They still like have romantic backdrops everywhere they go. Yeah.
That is true. I don't know. I personally wouldn't have minded if they just like went to all the goddamn tents on the road and shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, we stayed in Hollywood.
Garbage bags.
We stayed in Hollywood. I was like walking down the street, and like this film crew went into this house, with like these. I think they were filming an adult movie on our street. I think so.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we got to do it. I can't believe I've delayed this long. We got to do it right now. Andy wrote in a review for La La Land.
Ah, shit. Yeah.
Will I do a time code? I don't know. Let's just see how we go here. All right. Brace yourself. I unfortunately refuse to offer you a shorter cut for this review, so let's hope you stick with me. It's a big if. It's a passionate piece that I will keep writing because I just simply fail to limit my thoughts with fewer words and shorter paragraphs. I remember being extremely fond of everything La La Land related, especially after I got letterboxed. I haven't rewatched it in about 2 years and 9 months. It's very precise. But I'll admit that I've finally grown out of this film on an emotional level. Still, I don't think this is as overrated as people say it is. This is such a magical masterpiece with such a beautiful relationship study that truly embraces the timeless chemistry between Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Spoiler alert, but I don't quite understand why the stupid rom-com crowd got extremely annoyed at the disappointing conclusion when this film was released. Excuse me. Oh, bear with me, people. No matter how unfair the sad ending was, I felt like it was such a harsh but bittersweet storytelling decision to stick with because it paints a swooning picture about two lovers who unfortunately didn't end up together. But they would finally realise how much they were transformed by each other within that sudden time frame jump in the last 15 minutes. Even if people didn't enjoy how the narrative was told or the musical aspect in general, there's definitely so much to appreciate with how La La Land represents a passionate relationship between two aspiring artists that has much more humanistic value than other studio musicals made nowadays. There are people that do not enjoy La La Land as a fun musical, but one thing that they'll never realise is that Damien Chazelle presents a more masterful cinematic expression than stands out from modern musicals made by mediocre commercial directors just because they have a bunch of popular songs that people sing on repeat. Wow. The Greatest Showman, Mamma Mia, or the 2017 version of Beauty and the Beast in case you had an Emma Watson-related IMDb trivia. I didn't read this in advance, Andy. That's very perceptive of you. Decent examples of being memorable musicals where the songs are entertaining for everyone, but they're ultimately average movies made for a basic crowd who probably have seen 10 films in their life. Savage. So yeah, even if my sister couldn't remember one bloody song from La La Land, not even City of Lights, like Fitzy mentioned at the end of the last episode.
I meant City of Stars, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, it will always be completely genuine and relatable musical, a completely genuine and relatable musical that doesn't rely on generic techniques and emotional bait, plus a well-made picture as a whole. Enough with me complaining, this rewatch was truly charming, heartfelt, and visually fascinating from the technical execution of the dreamy artistry. The pristine CinemaScope widescreen format is simply gorgeous. Some of the colour and light feel reminiscent of Jean-Luc Godard's work. Fitzy might vouch for me with this, just like his film Contempt.
Yeah, I vouch.
Well done. And the vibrant pastel texture feels as bright and splendid as, oh my god, Jacques Demi's musicals?
I think it's
Jacques Demy. That's actually a good name, musicals. Anyways, hopefully you guys can carry your appreciation for Babylon and share it towards this film, mainly for Jaden's first viewing of this content and Zach's rewatch as an anti-musical villain. I hope to see many musicals from old Hollywood because I barely have any experience in that department, and I so want to rewatch Mr. Allen's Midnight in Paris once again simply because this oh my god, Andy, you're using too many big words here for me. Transcendental viewing has thematically convinced me to do so. If there's another musical you must check out, it's Jacques Demy's The Umbrellas of Schulberg? Okay. But I don't know how you guys feel about every single dialogue being sung. Chazelle was largely inspired by the use of fresh colours in that film, and the tragic climax resolution is bizarrely similar to that French masterpiece. Also, isn't it crazy that I still haven't seen Moonlight yet, but I'll keep putting it off? 10 out of 10. Wow, Annie, you took me on a ride. Thank you very much. Thanks for writing in. Yeah, it is crazy you haven't seen Moonlight yet, actually. Is Moonlight Moonlight's pretty popular, right?
It's fucking one over this movie. Yeah. I mean, it's not in the top on Letterboxd, but no.
Andy took me on a ride there. He said how he doesn't emotionally connect with the film, and then sung its praises, gave it a 10 out of 10, but then also managed to like perfectly predict all the shit we've talked about in this episode, which was like really scary. But anyway, thank you, Andy.
What other musicals have you seen that you come from this background of musical hater?
I don't even know. Like, You could probably tell me. It's not going to be anything. It's definitely not going to be anything like a Deep Cut. Like, I don't know. What are some big ones that we've all seen?
You saw The Greatest Showman with us, right?
No, I haven't seen that.
No, you didn't? Oh, okay. Mary Poppins you already spoke about, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you seen Les Mis?
No.
No.
Yeah, where does it come from? Is it just like my biology or something? I don't know.
Past life.
To me, just to very briefly explain myself, and it's something just I've always felt, even when I couldn't explain it. Something about breaking into song in live action, like, goes against my intrinsic understanding of the visual language of live action storytelling. It just doesn't work for me. Like, the whole motion of it, like when the character then breaks into song, it breaks all my understanding of film storytelling in my brain. Like, it just doesn't. I know it doesn't really. Doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't work for me. I don't mind animation's fine though. I don't know. It's weird.
I tried, and you wanted me to try, so I tried.
You did well. You did. I think you did well.
So, do you like the way that music is used in Tick Tick Boom then? Since that's not really breaking into song as much as it is him telling the story of them making the songs and all that shit, and like the songs come as a far more natural process. I'd say. Yeah,
because aren't all the songs aren't they all framed around like rehearsals and shit?
Mostly,
or like practices.
Yeah. But there is that one where he just like starts playing the piano in like the middle of the park at night.
But like he was actually doing that though.
Yeah, exactly. So like you're fine with like that kind of integration of songs.
That's so funny. I've never thought about that, but like I do really like that movie, and that's probably why.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's probably an aspect of it anyway. Yeah. The music. Yeah. I don't know. Like it like breaks it when you create these different levels of like reality within the film. It doesn't gel with me. And you guys know that with like how I don't like weird shit in movies. It's sort of the same thing to me, where it's like these levels of reality. But anyway.
I think that's really the only other musical you've seen.
God, that's sad.
I mean, Alvin and the Chipmunks, but that's
not a musical, is it? Do they sing?
Nah.
I know they're a band.
No, yeah. Like most of the other films, yeah, it looks like they've just like band movies. Apart from High School Musical, you've seen all three of those, so maybe that's where it comes from.
You're gonna do that franchise?
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen High School Musical. We should do
really?
Oh,
you love it. I saw the third one in the theaters.
That's crazy. Because they're meant to be Disney Channel original movie. Like that's what they started as, right? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Final verdicts on La La Land. Fitzy.
9 out of 10. For some reason it's it's always been a 9 out of 10. It will continue to be a 9 out of 10. So yeah. 9 out of 10.
Very nice. Very nice. Easy 7 for me. Jaden.
Yeah, I'm hovering between the 7 and 8, and I think on this viewing it might be a 7. In future it could definitely be the 8, but yeah, I think it was just a bit removed this time.
I get you. Another day of sun sequence is going to grow on you, Jade.
That's going to remain unchanged. But
on the day of sun, song's in my head now because it's just so good. It's just so memorable,
Give me one more line.
We were 17, something. We were young and it was sweet and something. Yeah. There you go.
I can't remember it, so you could be bullshitting for all I know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I just knew. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
Nothing at all.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah.
I watched a piece of Russian propaganda, Russian World War II propaganda. Alexander Nevsky. Yeah, as you do. It was about. So the reason I watched this was because I got a YouTube recommendation for a piece of score from Sergei Prokofiev. Yeah, that's right. It was like he was like a composer who went into film scores, and I think he's like famous for like kind of being one of the fathers of modern film scores and composition in film. So I got a recommendation for like Battle on the Ice, which is like the famous song from the film, famous piece from the film. But yeah, the film was really good. The film was it's about invading Germans in the 13th century, and it was supposed to anticipate the invasion of the Germans in World War II. It was kind of like it was kind of like a preparation kind of training fucking video, for the Russians. But like the film's actually really strong. It's actually really entertaining. It's got some. It's this leader Alexander. He basically has to unite the Russian forces, and there's these two guys. It's got like a funny kind of side story where these two guys try to fight over who's most brave to get this woman, and it actually kind of subverts it. I don't know. It's not a bad story. So yeah, I recommend it. And the sequence itself, Battle on the Ice, with the score, which is actually like just a really strong score, is really good. They kind of, when it goes into the battle, it's kind of shit. Like there's just swords clanking for like 10, 20, 30 minutes. But it's also really good. They like give you a good idea of like the geography of the battle. And it does remain a bit tense, even though it's a lot of fucking sword clanking.
Is it like that scene from Babylon where they're shooting like the massive battle and people?
It did remind me of that.
Yeah.
Well, no. Like the sword clanking is very like amateur. It's very like playful kind of kids having a day out kind of thing. It didn't look at all dangerous, but they use like a bunch of horses and shit. So I imagine that was like one of the main things they had to control. They have this like these shots of like a massive army with like horses on the flanks and phalanxes and whatever. Yeah, that was impressive. But I recommend this film. It's a 1930s film that I enjoyed much more than M. I guess like it had like a more entertainment value for me.
How the hell did you watch it? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Got it. Excellent. Speaking of composing, I watched a film called Amadeus, which won Best Picture in 1985, I think. So add that to the Best Picture ranked list. I should. This movie is fantastic. 3 hours long. The one on Netflix was the director's cut, I learnt. I don't know if that's always the one on Netflix. Do you know if that's the one you saw back in the day when you watched it, Fitzy? I don't know if you remember.
I watched the one I bought on Prime. I think it was a bit like it was the longest one. I think it was like 3.5 maybe.
3.5 hours?
I think so. But
I thought there was only 2 versions, but I don't know.
Oh, it might be the one you're talking about then. It was like
I think there's a 2 hour 40 and a 3 hour version, unless there's a third one. I'm not 100% sure.
Right, yeah, it's probably just the 3 hours then.
Gotcha. I looked up some of the. It was weird. I looked up some of the differences after, and like, my favorite scene in the movie was not in the theatrical, which is crazy. Like I was like, and people were like, "Oh, I don't really care about that scene." I'm like, "Dude, I just couldn't believe it." Like, because I was looking at like someone in Reddit posted the differences, and then I have to look at other people's comments. I was like, "Oh my god, there's some whack takes here." But anyway, I don't know. It was just it was fantastic. I'm like, it's like I love period pieces. I love like drawn out rivalry dramas. You know what I mean? Sort of had like. I mean, it's sort of not like it's sort of surface level like The Prestige, I guess, in that way. Set in a similar time period, about 2 artists rivaling. That's sort of it, though. Like outside of that, there are tons of differences. But dude, F. Murray Abraham's performance in this movie like blew me away. I thought it was incredible. It was such a modern performance that it struck me that it's like what, like 45 years old or whatever it is. No, it's not even quite 40. Sorry. But dude, like he blew me away in the movie. He was fantastic. He won Best Actor for it. I looked afterwards, and that's so well deserved. It's one of the best performances I've seen in a long time. Everyone else in the movie is fantastic as well. Just felt like it flowed like a modern movie as well. Just 3 hours long, but incredibly entertaining. All the scenes are very quick. The edits, there are some fantastic edits in this movie. Like some cuts they do with Mozart's music. I should say, sorry, if you don't know what the movie's about, it's about Mozart. The famous composer dude. And it's sort of about his music and his life and there's some other key characters and stuff. Yeah, some edits they do, some very fast moving stuff. Feels very, very modern, like you'd see it in a film, when you go see it at Readings today. But like you done to Mozart's score, it's all it just struck me as very modern and almost ahead of its time. I'm not well versed enough in like film history to know if it was ahead of its time, but it struck me like I wasn't expecting it in a film from the 80s like that, especially a Best Picture winner from the 80s. It flowed like a modern, like, just entertaining film to me, which was especially surprising that it was a period piece as well. So, I was just very, very impressed with the movie. I really loved it. It's going to get a rewatch from me in the future for sure. Do you remember liking it? I know. I think you watched it like 2 years ago, if I recall. But
No, yeah, it's great. Yeah, well, I thought it was something when I watched it, but I agree with everything you said. Yes,
nice.
Salieri is a great character.
Oh, dude, he's so good. He's so good.
He's like the modern personification of jealousy. You know, like a modern Iago. Like, that's just how I think of when I think of jealousy. I think I mentioned it in Oppenheimer. Like, Robert Downey Jr.'s character reminded me of Salieri. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. But like the thing about it that's so great, and that makes the performance so great, and the theme's so great, all of it just works together so well on a scene by scene basis, because it's not. It's like his whole thing is against God. You know, it's not that's so clever. It's not like he just hates Mozart because he's good. It's got nothing to do with that. It's like all this other religious shit involved, and faith systems, and this entitlement that he has, that he thinks like the world revolves around him and it's God testing him, and all this weird shit. Like, I thought it was like a super clever way to like frame the whole thing.
The film's just like like hella entertaining, as you said as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend for sure. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite Ryan Gosling movie? Damn, dude. Aiden came in like literally 2 minutes after I posted the thread and said, beating y'all to it, Blade Runner 2049. You did it. He's done it. Let's close the segment down, guys. But yeah, no, Andy says, as much as I truly adore La La Land, my favourite Ryan Gosling movies are actually Drive and Only God Forgives. I find it hilarious that the characters he plays in his collaborations with Nicholas Winding Refn are unintentionally quiet and looks like a true NPC half the time. That's true. At least it helped with developing a stoic type character that he would later become useful in Blade Runner 2049. I haven't seen Only God Forgives. I actually haven't even heard of that. Have you guys seen that one?
No. I mentioned a Refn film earlier, Neon Demon, but I've also seen like the Pusher series and stuff.
Oh, right. That's all the same. I get it. Nice.
He's the guy from Death Stranding.
Yeah.
What?
Nicholas he's in Death Stranding. He's Hartman.
Oh, no way. Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I thought you did, but then like when you're talking about him with like such like not knowing, I was like, oh shit, does he?
Oh no, thank you for telling me. No, I honestly, sorry. Like, so he directed Drive, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Right. I'm sorry. I I didn't recognize his name at all, but that's awesome. He's Hartman in Death Stranding.
That's gonna rewatch Drive now and love it. Yeah.
I actually think Drive's like kind of ass, to be honest, but maybe I will. Okay, Luke said The Notebook. Can't go wrong with that. I love how Andy's like also embracing like calling everything content now. Have you noticed that?
Huh?
So Andy backed up and said that The Notebook is quality content, which I agree with. I remember The Notebook as having, I haven't seen it in ages. I always forget it's Ryan Gosling for some reason.
Yeah,
and
same.
I always just like insert like Channing Tatum or someone else, like I don't know, some other generic guy. And but like I remember that movie having like a really strong ending. I recall tons of options here, maybe. I don't know. Well, there were tons of options until Aiden stole Blade Runner. That was brutal because that's correct. But anyway, Jaden, what did you come up with?
I love so many of his films. Like that's like he just does so well everywhere. But I think the film that I appreciate the most that I didn't initially was The Place Beyond the Pines, where I was very not into that film for the first 30-40 minutes, but then like you know when that kind of thing happens and there's that thing that happens, fucking blew me away. Just so I like after that just so entirely wrapped up in it. And I just think it grows and builds from that point, and it lingers in my mind like I didn't expect it would after that first like kind of chunk, you know. Yeah, I'll absolutely shout The Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh man, I was so convinced you were going to pick The Nice Guys.
Oh yeah, I could have easily, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a great one. That Place Beyond the Pines was my answer for sure. Yeah. I mean, Blade Runner 2049 is my favorite, but yes, Place Beyond the Pines is my second for sure, and I feel like it deserves some love, man. Exactly what you're talking about. For me, like that film really stands out in the way that it becomes a generational story, which you just don't see coming at all. Like it's no specific spoilers, but like you're right. Like the first part when it's like when it's like Ben Mendelsohn's sort of part of it when he's in it, and like that aspect of it when it's just sort of this like drama or whatever, and it's like okay, yeah, cool, that's cool. But then it like becomes this like the scope just opens up, and it's like wow, didn't see that shit coming. So that's a great answer. Close runner up as well is Fracture.
Oh,
because
dude.
that's awesome.
I was going to make that joke. I was going to say my favorite Ryan Gosling movie is Fracture. Oh, I was literally going to make that joke. God damn it.
It's the second time he's been angry over a question answer being stolen.
Yeah. This one actually, I'm like more upset at. Yeah.
For context, Fracture is not good. We
don't like Fracture in this house. No. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
Please.
Yeah, like it's probably between this and Blade Runner 2049, but I was talking about something else. Blue Valentine's a very good movie. It's a very like depressing, like romantic film. It's like I think it spans like a lot of years, but it's just like a relationship movie between like Michelle Williams and Ryan Gosling, and like I think that's all there is to it. Pretty much, it's just a really because there's not much like other themes attached to it or anything.
It's directed by that bloke you like, right?
Let me see. Derek Keen
France. Yeah.
Oh, he directed Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh, did he?
That bloke you like. Yeah, I don't think he did much. Oh, it's Sound of Metal, did he? What? I don't know what else to say about it, but it's very good. You should check it out.
Nice. Yeah, this one was like the one I hadn't seen that was on my watch list for sure.
Oh yeah. Mm.
You know what else you put on your watch list? The Great Man.
Yeah, good point. The Great Man.
Mm.
I thought you might say that. But no, you weren't going to say that over The Nice Guys.
No. The Nice Guys definitely would have been. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Where's Barbie fall on his filmography, Liam?
Yeah, it's up there. I don't think it's. Is it top 5? Maybe 6? 7?
Okay.
8? Yeah.
And Zach, for you, it's bottom 6.
I was thinking more like top 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and/or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is doing a bit of a check-in. What have you been watching? Let us know. Let us know a highlight, one of your highlights, just anything you've been watching lately. Any movie you watched recently in the last, I don't know, few weeks or whatever that you've really liked, or a show that you're watching right now. Let us know. We've got a poll to announce.
Oh, yeah.
It's very exciting. Instagram poll time. Did you get to choose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got an amazing choice.
Okay. So Liam and I are going one-on-one in this month's poll for the Instagram. I've gone with a choice that is
my choice is not
there.
That popular, by the way. Just in case you pick, like, The Incredibles or something.
Saving Private Ryan. No. I've gone with something. I feel like I've played it a little bit safe, like with some of my recent choices. And this, what you're saying is maybe, I don't know, whatever. I've gone with a bit of a weird choice. I'm nominating Brother Bear for the poll because I think it would be really kind of random and weird, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought I wanted to go a bit more out there.
Bit out of left field, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. What do you got for me?
I have an equally weird choice. My choice My choice is Labyrinth with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, the fantasy film from the 80s that I haven't watched.
Oh my god.
All I remember is Henry said in his Letterboxd views that you could see Bowie's like bulge the entire film. So that's like one of the main things. That's,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I feel like people know Labyrinth.
Maybe, but like people's Brother Bear. People know that. Yeah.
Do people know Brother Bear? I actually don't know.
People know
like,
Brother
I know it. Okay. Like I know Brother Bear, but okay. Well, this is going to be a really weird poll. It's going to be interesting. I wonder what people are going to gravitate towards. Okay. So make sure to check out our Instagram page it's in the YouTube description or whatever. It's in all the links. Within, around 24 hours or so after this episode goes live this week. And you got to cast your vote. What we'll be reviewing in a fortnight's time. But that's in a fortnight's time. That's, far, far future. Liam, what are we doing next week?
We're continuing the Gosling Chazelle train. We're doing the third Chazelle film that we'll cover on the show. Chronologically as well. First Man.
Yeah.
Biography about Neil Armstrong. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's actually about Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
Is it on Only Prime?
It's on Fox Out Prime and Binge. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. No problem. Yeah, dude. So this is our, as you said, chronologically third Chazelle film. Also, like all this year.
Oh, yeah.
And if we were to, we're like closer to doing his whole filmography in 1 year at this point. Like real close. Well, we would have seen all of his films in the year anyway. That's for sure. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me, as always. Have a great rest of your week and goodbye.